Thanks, Guy. Good morning, everybody. This is the Xtreme XRM 1254. Need to do a little explanation on that. This event was for 10,000 pound machines with 50 to 60 feet of lift height. We unfortunately don't have anything in that class. This is the only machine we make with a 50 plus foot reach capacity, so that's why we brought this. First thing you notice when you hop in the cab, with the boom in the carry position, you have very good visibility all the way around. The sheet metal, all the shrouds are wrapped right around the engine to provide for the most visibility we could get. The roof bars in this canopy they're all set at different angles, so as you're looking up in the air, you're looking at the load, you're looking at the edge of the metal instead of the side, so it provides a little more visibility. The cab, everything in the cab is made out of steel, no plastic dashes. Everything is very rugged, durable. The decals even are made to be rather durable. They're all made out. All the safety decals are made out of Lexan, and the labeling is actually printed to the back side of it, and it's stuck on it. So when it comes in and it's full of mortar or mud or whatever, and they scrape the mortar off, you don't scrape your labels off. We have a variety of warning lights on the dash, hydraulic oil temperature, low brake pressure, rear axle stabilization engaged, D-clutch on and off. This machine allows you to run it with the D-clutch on or off, depending if you want to use it as an inching brake or as a stand on the brake and floor the accelerator for speed. Two toggle mounted switches for the outriggers. All the gauges and switches on this dash are sealed and waterproof. Parking brake located right here on the outside of the dash, so it's easy to access. If the machine happens to be rolling away, you can reach up and slap it very easily. Parking brake has to be engaged to start, another safety feature. Another thing about the dash, all of our electronics, or electrical components, are located in a swing down panel located right here. 3 bolts come out, and it hinges down. All the relays and fuses and breakers and everything is located right there. The wiring on this machine, we use all ring terminal connectors. That way you don't have any push-on slides that may rattle loose or you get pulled off accidentally. The drop-down pedals, you don't get snow and ice and mud and dirt built up. The control console is something unique too. You can pull a pin here, and this whole console is on a set of rollers that slides back and forth, so you can accommodate just about any size or shape of operator. Just look at me, I fit in here. The handles, the front joystick handles boom up, down, and retract. There's a thumb switch that's proportional from the fork tilt on the top, and the rear wide handle is for frame sway. And our thinking with this is that the operator can be going across the job site with his hand on the boom control, and if he needs to rock the machine left or right, he can just roll his wrist back and forth. Doesn't have to remove his hand to switch back to the other controller. Another part of our visibility program is the boom angle indicator. We made it so that it stands out from the side of the boom so that the operator has a very clear view of it no matter what angle the boom is at. The valve under here, it's a direct actuated Have valve. It's actually located right in this control console. The handles are mounted directly to the valve spool, so when you pull on this, you're pulling a valve spool. There's no cables or wires or hoses connecting it to the main valve remote. Moving towards the rear of the machine, we've been told by operators that if we could put 6 million gallons of fuel on board, that'd be good, because they don't like to go to the fuel truck. Couldn't get that much. We got 72 gallons, so it's a fairly large fuel tank. Should last you for a few days. Again, with the rear axle stabilization, very similar to our friends at Skytrack that just presented theirs. It's a very similar system, but it adds for stability for the machine when you're above. This machine is actually set at 35 degrees. All of our hydraulic connections are flat face O-ring. There's no JIC or pipe thread on the machine. All of our pins are melanited for rust proof. All of our pivot points have spherical bearings on them. Sealed spherical bearings. Excuse me. All of our circuitry, of course, has holding valves. Our lift cylinders and our boom extend cylinder have, similar to a scissor lift emergency lowering valve. You can back these valves out. If for some reason you lose a motor or a pump, you can lower the boom without having to put a line and drain it into a bucket or whatever. Just crack these valves and it'll go back into the tank. The dual cylinders here, these are master cylinders for the frame leveling. They look a little bit big. What's that? Carriage leveling, correct. And the reason that we put these here was strictly for visibility. We wanted to keep the visibility as good as we possibly could. So when you're sitting in the cab, these actually are tucked right behind the lift cylinders. It's hard to even know they're there. Get to the back. Some of the features are accessibility. Battery is located in the back for easy access. There's room in there for a second battery for cold weather applications. There's also a master battery disconnect right there that's lockable, so you can lock it out on the job site. Backup light is standard. Our boom cylinder, we chose to mount it on the inside, but we've had experience with internal cylinders before. We know that they can be a little bit difficult to work on if you have to get them out. We've devised a system inside the boom that allows that cylinder to come out of there in about 10 minutes by yourself, and I've even done it myself, so whatever that tells you. The rear axle lockup on the machine is once you get over 35 degrees, there is an override switch that you can actually sway the machine when you go above that 35-degree boom angle. But you have to do two things. You have to push the button and then actuate the sway control. The machine's equipped with real nice heavy chain tie downs for transportability. Get into our accessibility again for all our engine service. We just slide this hood forward. The hood's made out of fiberglass but reinforced with Kevlar. It's pretty bulletproof. We get into the engine compartment. We start with the radiator. The radiator is actually a three-function cooler. It cools the engine, the transmission oil, and the engine air. But all three sections are bolted together. So if one section was to rot out or to get a stick through it or whatever, you don't have to replace all three. You can unbolt the faulty section and put a new section in there. A little more up front, but service down the road, it'll save you a few bucks. Our fan blade has bolt-on fan fins, so if you break one fan blade off, you don't have to replace the whole thing. You can just buy an individual blade and bolt it in there. Got an overflow canister for the radiator that you can check just by looking at a sight glass on the outside. You don't have to open the radiator to check the fluid level. All of our service points are located right here for the engine. All the oil filters, fuel filters, starter, oil fill, dipstick, air cleaner, everything is located right here. The service tech can actually do a PM just by standing right here. We put the electronic fuel lift pump on this 122 horse Perkins engine. It allows us to, it primes the engine by itself. So if you run out of fuel, you just pour 5 gallons in the tank, turn the key. This will actually prime the engine, and until it receives a prime, the engine won't turn over. So you don't have people burning up starters and batteries and whatnot. For transmission and hydraulic access, everything's located right underneath this pop-up panel. We're using a 4-speed Carrera transmission in this machine. All the hydraulic manifolds and everything are located in this area, as well as it's a 49 gallon per minute Kawasaki hydraulic pump. We're using dual hydraulic filtrations on the machine. We use a 10 micron high pressure filter So all 49 of those gallons coming out of the pump go through a 10 micron absolute filter before they go out to the system. And then also when the oil is returning to the tank, it goes through another 10 micron filter. So we're filtering it, going, coming and going. Manifolds all steel, no aluminum blocks. All hydraulic, or all steel hydraulic manifolds. Hydraulic tank mounted on the side with a protected sight glass. Hydraulic fill is right here. You have to actually have a wrench to take it off. Again, we've had the same experience with the diesel fill in the hydraulic tank. So try to make it as hard as possible. Moving to the front of the machine, we also employ frame-mounted outriggers so that when the pads are down, you can still level the chassis. A couple other things underneath the side of the boom here. We call this our dumpster protection package. On all the machines, we know that they're going to compress things into these big garbage bins. So instead of telling them not to do it, we just protected our plumbing against that and encourage it. There's 2 3/8 plates welded to the side that actually is the structural part of it, and then a thin gauge plate just to cover the plumbing it. Another one of our features that we like to think is a great feature is our roller boom. We use full length solid steel melanite rollers with melanited shafts through the middle, all running on the sealed needle bearings. And with the rollers being one piece all the way across, we don't experience any pin deflection. The